Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 188. Written by HeMightBeDoc. A man repeating or teleporting, and a strange gut feeling something is wrong. I was in a bar with some friends yesterday, and we were seated next to a big window. They started talking about work. I got a little bored and looked out the window. A somewhat odd-looking older man in a red t-shirt hobbled by. He moved slowly, had poor posture. I took a sip of my drink. I was halfway into my first drink here, and listened to my friend's conversation. They're still talking about work, so I looked back out the window. You guessed it. The same somewhat odd-looking older man in a red t-shirt hobbled by again. Same direction, same speed. There was not enough time for him to have completely rounded the block, or even double back to walk that way again. The only logical explanation I can think of is he had an identical twin walking just a block behind him. But why? So I brought it up to the group. I say, I just saw that guy walk by in the same direction 8 seconds ago. This is when it gets weirder. They all laughed boisterously. I didn't say it like it was a joke, and it didn't sound like their normal laughs. It felt forced. They quickly changed the subject to favorite animals. I didn't press further, but I have a gut feeling something weird happened. This is not the type of person I am either. I'm even-keeled, not into supernatural or anything like that. Maybe I should bring it up to them again. Case notes, file number 188. This is more unsettling to me than many stories about demons or even direct attack events. I'm not sure why either. You mentioning how your friends reacted could be part of it. I always thought of the Truman Show as more of a horror than social commentary or philosophy. The idea that my own life isn't my own, that others are orchestrating it or planning it, is disturbing. Of course, I doubt that's what happened here, but who knows? If you're enjoying this video, consider giving it a like. Now on to the next story. Case file number 189, written by StitchLover15. Pure intuition saved them, or was it something else? When I was 16, I stayed at my friend's house for one night in the summer. It wasn't unusual for me to spend the night at her house, and we would frequently walk a few blocks from her house to a Dairy Queen when I was there. As per usual, we were getting ready to leave, and her younger sister, about 6 years old, asked if she could come with us. We tell her she can, and the three of us head out to the garage to put our shoes on. All of a sudden, I get this strong, overwhelming feeling that I don't feel safe going. I was afraid. Call it a gut feeling, whatever. This was unusual because we had done this several times before, and I've never encountered any issues. I, discreetly, tell my friend that something feels off and I no longer want to go, trying not to scare her sister. She tries to brush it off and reassure me that we'll be just fine like always. After hesitating for a moment, I agree and we head out of the garage. As we are leaving, her older brother, who was responsible for all of us at the time, comes running out of the door to stop us and tell us he doesn't think we should go. By this time, I'm really shaken and no one could possibly convince me to go. We listen to her brother and agree to go back inside. The next day, my aunt, who knew I was with my friend and knew about our plans, called me to check on me. Turns out, there was an attempted kidnapping in the area that night, and she wanted to make sure it wasn't us. Something was clearly protecting us that night. It still gives me chills to think about it 10 years later. Case notes, file number 189. The usual suspect at play here, perhaps. A guardian angel is probable. But perhaps it was just your raw intuition, which is our subconscious brain processing thousands of times more information than our conscious mind could ever dream of. With all this information flowing around, it's conceivable there was some hint or pattern you had knowledge of regarding that specific Dairy Queen in your area. Maybe a news broadcast, maybe a friend mentioning something a year earlier. Anything like that. The impressive and unexplainable aspect, though, is the timing. Even if you somehow knew the area could be risky, how did your mind know that exactly that night, someone would be lurking about, stalking the area for prey?